Hi everyone, Ronan Michael here, Huddersfield Giants first team player. Just thought I'd jump on and tell you a bit about myself. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but the HSA asked me to do a little video, I suppose, telling you about myself. So if you haven't noticed already, I'm not from around here. I'm from Ireland, believe it or not. But yeah, I suppose if I'm talking about how I came to Huddersfield, I have to talk about how I started playing rugby league, because rugby league isn't really played in Ireland at all. So started playing rugby league in 2017. I remember we had to take a break from union, so we decided we wanted to play some sort of rugby. So we decided to go for rugby league. Came across it, hadn't heard of it before. It's not really played in Ireland, as I said. So we rocked up to train and we were like, oh, what's the name of the amateur team we're going to be playing for? And they were like, no, you're not playing for an amateur team, you're just playing for Ireland. So we just got to play for underage Ireland. I think it was under 17s, Ireland under 17s, and we got to play a few games against Wales. And lucky enough, I stood out somehow. I don't know why. I felt lucky that I stood out, and I got asked to come over with 3 other lads to just kind of get a feel for what a Super League academy is like and see what Huddersfield's like. I got the opportunity to hang about Huddersfield, which was class. Got to train in with the first team and see what the academy was like. And that was in about February 2018, and luckily enough, when I finished school in Ireland, then they said, listen, come over for a trial in the summer of 2018. So that's how I ended up in Huddersfield, and I've loved it since. You know, I had the trial, and then that was for the academy, for the under-19s, and that kind of brings me into the next point on the sheet. What the academy was like. So I had the trial in 2018, and then just took it from there. Just took it from there, really. And got signed for a 3rd year on the academy, had a whole year then, so I was buzzing, I was made up. I was the only ever young Irish player to ever get signed for an academy, so I was really over the moon. I couldn't believe that I got this opportunity, you know. So I played 4 games for the academy over that summer, as well as going over to Serbia with the Ireland 19s. And then, luckily enough, the academy made it into the semi-final of the playoffs, and then I got to play in that. So that was only my 5th ever game of what you'd call actual rugby league, because what we played in Ireland wasn't exactly rugby league. And then after that, luckily enough, I signed my 3rd year, as I was saying, and I got the whole year with the academy, and that was just class. Like, actually getting a full pre-season, got to go in with the first team and that, and just actually learn a bit about the sport, because I was so new. And after my first 5 games with the academy, luckily enough, I got to make my Ireland debut as well. So that was my senior Ireland debut, so that was unbelievable. That academy year just gone. It went well, and we were unfortunate not to make the top 4, really, but that brought me into my next step, which was I got lucky again, as I feel really lucky that I got the opportunity. Got to sign a first team contract after the last academy season, luckily enough, and then that brought me into pre-season this year with the first team. My first time I was ever considered like a first team player. I wasn't just an academy lad. And it was unreal, like getting another full pre-season under my belt. Really learned lots from the first team. There's some unbelievable lads up there, you know, and they're all top blokes. So really got a good opportunity there, and I was lucky that I got signed on. And then about 2 or 3 weeks, probably 2 weeks before Christmas, before we all meant to split up after pre-season, Andy came forward and said to me, oh, listen, I don't know if you've seen in the media, but we've made this link with Canberra. Do you want to go over and see how you fare with the under-20s for a year and like gain some experience, and then bring it back to Huddersfield and see how you go in the Super League or whatever? See if you've improved and got yourself more ready for Super League, an extra year under your belt, learning a bit more about the sport, because at the end of the day I'm still very new to rugby league. So I jumped at the opportunity to go to Canberra. I couldn't believe that I was the one that got chosen out of all the young lads that are coming through our academy. I was just baffled. I was like, oh my god, this is class. So got to move over to Canberra there at the start of January, and it was unbelievable, like the experience. But I had some adversity, to say the least. When I first got there was the bushfires, and it was too smoky in Canberra to even train outdoors, so we were training indoors for a couple of days, and then obviously Corona hit the world like by surprise, really. But it hit Australia about 2 weeks after it hit over in England and Ireland. It kind of got a bit worse in Australia, and unfortunately I got sent home in March. But honestly, the experience I had, I'll definitely take back now when I'm going back in training with the first team, because it was just an unbelievable experience, and I feel very lucky that I got that chance, that not many young lads my age who get the chance to go over and see what an NRL setup is like, and just the facilities and the training opportunities I had. And I got a lot of time playing against blokes my own age, you know, rather than, I suppose, like playing reserve grade or whatever with the first team. So yeah, I feel really lucky, but I'm keen now to get back stuck in with first team, and fingers crossed make my debut, I guess. And most of the lads in the academy do BTEC. I didn't because I was doing school already, but we have loads of different education paths, and Steve Hardesty does loads of that type of stuff for us, so we can do loads of courses. I'm planning to do my personal training course now, thank God, because it's something I really want to get around to. I love doing stuff in the gym anyway, so it'd be class if I can get that box ticked. But there's loads of education routes for us, and Steve's the top man for doing that type of stuff, you know. So we have loads of education. And then in terms of training, when I'm with the first team in pre-season, we do about 5-6 days a week, and with academy you do kind of similar. It's just obviously after BTEC they go to training, so your days are a bit shorter with academy when you're in your top year. But I got to go to work then, and then just try to make a bit extra money for myself. So that was good when I was in my third year of academy. But yeah, that was a very good experience, and all the young lads coming through as well get that experience of doing the BTEC and getting to train similar enough to what full-time environment is, and it prepares them well for when they go into full-time. Fingers crossed this year maybe. I got to play, I played 5 senior internationals with Ireland, qualified us for the World Cup, was part of that team, so that was incredible. Played every academy game last year, only missed one due to concussion. I played a handful of games with Ireland under 19s as well, so played a few games, but nothing major yet. Still the best to come, hopefully, which is 2021 World Cup. Fingers crossed, get to play with that with Ireland, and hopefully make my Super League debut this year. I suppose what my goals are for the future, the 2021 World Cup is probably one of the biggest things I've ever thought about since I've come into rugby league. 2017 was when I kind of started touching base with rugby league, started getting involved, and that was the World Cup year. And hearing the stories of it from the lads at that World Cup just made me say, if I'm still playing rugby league by 2021, that's where I want to be. I want to be at the World Cup with all the boys. So that has been a huge motivation for me. And then I suppose after being over in Canberra and seeing what the NRL is like, I know like that's something I'd love to do as well. I'd love to go over to the NRL if I'm ever good enough, and hopefully make an impact there and get myself back over there. But in terms of short term, I want to make my Super League debut when I get the chance, you know, and hopefully someone Watford calls me up and says, gives me the shot at Super League. So that's the next goal, and then I'm just going to take it from there, hopefully with the World Cup squad with Ireland, with the World Cup squad with Ireland, and see where things go. And I guess all I can say really is, if you're an English supporter, most of you be from around Huddersfield, and you want a second team to support in the World Cup, if you want a second team to support in the World Cup, Ireland has to be it, you know. There's no other team around. You can't be off supporting anyone else. If you're going to have a second team in the World Cup, it has to be Ireland. So I owe a lot to the people in Rugby League Ireland who are working behind the scenes, and the Longhorns, which were my amateur club, we just won our 4th All-Ireland in a row. So if you want someone to support in the early rounds of the Challenge Cup as well, Longhorns, and then second team for the World Cup has to be Ireland. Cheers for having us, right?